This is a great game. If you just wanted someone to tell you if this game is good or not, I'm here to say it's superb. If this is your first rhythm game, I highly recommend it, but it's not perfect. I have a couple pros and cons here and there, but before we get into that, I want to say that this review is spoiler free. Halfway through the video, I'll give a spoiler warning so people that have made up their mind can go click off, but don't worry, you're not missing anything that's super detrimental or like a game breaking kind of thing. I'll just be talking more in depth about the things that I do and don't like about this game. With that being said, enjoy the video. First of all, this game rocks. As a Rhythm Heaven fan and a fan of rhythm games across many systems, I think that this game is pretty darn cool. Out of all the Rhythm Heaven games that I played, that being the DS1 and Fever, I think this one is the most beginner friendly. Now on one hand, that's amazing. More people get to experience more of this game's content. On the other hand, I think it's a little too easy. Now I know, I'm a little rhythm gamer sweat, but the early games gave me quite the challenge and I was just hoping that this would eventually get to that point, but it just never really did for me. Sure, the game did increase in difficulty the further in you go, albeit there are a couple spikes here and there, but that's something new to the Rhythm Heaven franchise. It's just I was never really challenged by this game like other previous games. 80 all-new rhythm games on display here are filled with love and very enjoyable to go through. The iconic visual style of the Rhythm Heaven franchise is pretty intact here. With that being said, I'm glad to note that more people are able to enjoy this game because of a nifty accessibility feature. With the inclusion of Little Miss Reads, who is a characterized screen reader, more people are able to enjoy the sights and sounds of Rhythm Heaven Groove. Continuing the positivity, Groove offers a ton of content. The main 5-star course is the 80+ rhythm games advertised on the back of the box. Most of them are pretty alright. A couple stand out in a good way and a couple stand out in not such a good way, but with there being 80+ minigames, there's bound to be some you like and some that you don't. My only problem is how a lot of the music is very samey. It's all very pop and electric, which is fine, don't get me wrong, it's just I was hoping for more variety of genre in 80+ minigames. Speaking about variety, a lot of the games feel like spiritual successors to older Rhythm Heaven mainstays. At times I wondered, why not just bring back the game it's based off of? I get having new things in a new game is kind of the point, but I'd happily take some of the classics back. Speaking of bringing things back, what happened with the remixes? A lot of the remixes just omit the theming that every previous game had. No theming, no continuing story, now a remix is just a song with a chart of the previous lane. It doesn't absolutely ruin the experience, but it does drive down the quality a bit. Previous Rhythm Heaven games felt more cohesive even without a big epic story, ignoring Mega Mix. Continuing with the minigames, I feel like they're a little too self-contained. It's hard to describe, but what used to be fun or quirky additions that really tested players' sense of rhythm have almost all been stripped down here. You get a couple sequences here and there that try to interrupt your flow, but as long as you do the practice, about what you see is what you get. I hate to compare, but last year we had a mighty sweet little rhythm game called Bits and Bops. It is extremely inspired by Rhythm Heaven and not only does it have actual themed remixes, but it also constantly surprises the players in new and innovative ways without ever feeling like it's directly copying from its source material. Granted, Rhythm Heaven and Bits and Bops are two completely different games, but it's hard to ignore how an indie game got the memo better than the franchise is based off of. One thing that Rhythm Heaven and Bits and Bops both improved on are the quality of life features. I know I'm not reviewing Bits and Bops, but this ties in with it later. While Bits and Bops doesn't have a built-in screen reader, perfects are also not a timed exclusive. You can attempt any song for a perfect, sometimes even getting a perfect on your first try without the computer picking a random minigame at a random time. With that being said, Rhythm Heaven Groove also has its fair share of quality of life improvements. First of all, the scoring is much more forgiving. I found myself multiple times getting medals even though I had messed up enough to think that I didn't deserve it. I got amazing? I messed up multiple times. It seems that for rhythm games that require constant player input, losing the flow for a moment doesn't entirely negate the run like it once did. To boot, the actual minigames are just plain easier. They don't throw many difficult rhythms in quick succession or previously thought unfair cues for the remixes. Some may think this is a negative such as moi, while other people might appreciate the easier difficulty. Another quality of life improvement are the example videos. For when somebody doesn't entirely understand a rhythm concept thrown at them, it now removes any frustration by allowing the user to reference the video. It's kind of like the PS5 game help tool, but it's included in the game, it's free, and it's just better. Moving along, they allow you to test and modify the audio delay, which is very welcome. Though they don't allow you to test in handheld mode, even when using wireless earbuds, or allow the player to tinker with the exact millisecond delay, which I think is a big oversight. For being a much more casual and beginner-friendly facing game, players may be inclined to use wireless earbuds or headphones with some amount of delay. Even when running on handheld mode on Nintendo Switch 2 using Nintendo Switch Software Boost, the game still detects that it's in handheld mode and does not allow for modification of delay, which I think is really annoying. Finally, perfects are now just more lenient. That is to say that perfects still must be perfected, but the fact that you do not need to immediately attempt one as it appears is a very welcome addition. Turning the system off, removing the cartridge, or playing a limited amount of other minigames still allows for the perfect attempt to be open. Also, it is better telegraphed how many chances left you have to perfect the minigame alongside how many more minigames you can play before the computer picks a different minigame. Extra quality of life feature, messing up on a perfect still allows you to play the entire game, which I've heard is a big complaint from Megamix. All these little bits and bobs keeps the spirit of the original perfect without feeling like they're making it too easy or just entirely non-existent. That specific aspect of the game I understand is much more subjective. Doing away with randomized perfects entirely like bits and bops could be seen as a positive or a negative. Some players prefer the old style of perfects where the game selected is random. This can get annoying at times though, since the computer could pick a really difficult game for you. The rewards on offer here are similar to older games, that is to say, completely optional. To wrap up the spoiler-free segment of the review, I highly recommend this game to anybody remotely interested. It is easily the easiest game of the franchise, and generally a good old time filled with beautiful art, solid music, and a couple bones thrown for fans of the series. Oh, and also, if you do decide to pick it up, I recommend getting a physical version. The cartridge comes with version 1.0, and as of writing this review, no update or download is needed. So in 50 years, when the Switch eShop is long gone, you'll still be able to enjoy this game as it was released in 2026 with no bugs or slowdowns or anything. I'm just gonna put this right here. This concludes the spoiler-free segment of the review. Don't feel bad about leaving, I got to all of the points that I wanted to touch upon over with in this part. With that being said, just do the usual YouTube engagement stuff, like, subscribe, tell me in the comments down below if you think I'm a little too cuckoo for thinking that this game is a little too easy, or if you just like the intro sequence a lot and just wanted to tell me that I did a really good job because I spent the whole day on that. Anyways, see ya. It's gonna be like, and it's gonna be like, warning, there's a spoiler. Warning, there's a spoiler. I actually really like the way that I did that. So, it's still a great game. Wow, who'd have thunk? I just wanted to go over in depth some of the things that I mentioned in the spoiler-free segment. First of all, the remixes, or lack of theming in the remixes. Now I know, you might be thinking, oh, you really want to talk bad about this game, but just hold on, would ya? One of the big things for me personally about Rhythm Heaven are the remixes. The visuals were iconic and the music was spectacular, but there just ain't any here. Now, I still like the game, but just hear me out. Okay, so after beating Remix 8, featuring Ado, don't let my sister hear that. Two things. Number one, I don't know who that is. Number two, why is the theme Remix 8 hidden behind an Easter egg? If you start Remix 8 with flexed muscles, get different visuals? Why is that a secret? Anyway, after Remix 8 featuring What the Hell, you unlock Flipside, which basically doubles the game's content. Here's where I thought, okay, so here's where we get mostly sequels, which is fine. I'm just really hoping that since they can just pluck and put any minigame in any order they want, they'll have theme remixes, but they just don't. Another critique of the remixes is that there isn't one remix that makes use of any flow. The only exception is maybe Remix 7, compared to the absolute gem that Remix 8 or Remix 10 from the Rhythm Heaven DS is. What's interesting is that in the flip side, they introduced brand new games, specifically one every row. You get 3 sequels and then 1 new game right before the remix. I quite enjoyed this segment since it allowed for new games to introduce additional rhythms while also allowing the game's difficulty to continue scaling. At times I really did have to focus, but I got medals on all the levels, some of which were first tries, and I only got 1 try again in single player. We'll get back to that later. Oh, speaking of try again, start bringing back the old texts. In the front side, the grading goes from keep trying, good, very good, and amazing, while on the flip side, they bring back the keep trying, just okay, okay, and superb. I think the fact that they include both is pretty cool. Oh, also, if you fail a level, the game encourages you to continue with parts that you did well at despite us really trying to throw you off texts, which doubly makes the game lighthearted unlike the older Stoic games. I probably did worse this time. Oh my goodness. I did do worse. Maybe I should have hired a waiter. I also find it amusing that the bartender in the flip side tells you the difference between the front side and flip side texts. With the extra bit, maybe you're already used to the ones that we use here. Speaking of the bartender. Cuter than a button. I think she was married to a dog. Anyway, 1 in a million chance. Bartender, if you're real, my name is Dale Gibbons. I've been single for 4 years. My wife walked out on me. I've been so lonely. I can take good care of ya. I can make a Salisbury steak like you wouldn't believe.
I got a Ford F-150, I'll take it.
Anyway, she makes an appearance in one of my favorite rhythm games, A for Effort 2. She plays the bass. She's really cool. Speaking about my favorite minigames, here's my list. One of my earlier favorites is Ribbit Rocket 1. I enjoyed the big frog in the background dancing, the art style is very nice, and the music stands out to me. Slice and Dice 1 and 2 are both pretty good, I just can't choose which one's better. On one hand, her humming matches the music better with 1 than 2. But the sequel does utilize more difficult rhythms. One thing I'm a little disappointed in is that in the trailer they utilized a style that is just never used in the game. After completing it the first time, I was like, oh, they're gonna use it for the remix or maybe a sequel or something, but they just never did, and I was like, well, I was kind of bummed about that. This is another reason why I'm kind of disappointed about the remixes lacking themes. I could visualize a couple different themes using the already established minigames, such as Fruit Flex working well with Slice and Dice. What's even more upsetting is that upon achieving a perfect for Fruit Flex 1, you unlock a short 4-panel comic that combines Fruit Flex and Slice and Dice. Like, why? The fact that there's multiple comics combining these characters and minigames together, but just never in any actual minigame, makes me so upset. It's just like, you were this close, but you just never did it. Anyway, continuing with my favorites, I like Sneezy Moon 2 quite a bit. The only thing is that with Sneezy Moon 1, the timing was a real struggle for me. I did eventually figure it out. Apparently, I was just a little too early on the timing. Everything about Sneezy Moon 2 is just better than Sneezy Moon 1. Lastly, probably one of my most favorites, A for Effort 1 and 2. The first time around playing A for Effort 1, one of the stock images really caught me off guard. And I missed a ton of inputs, but it's fine. The sequel did bring in the bartender and also some more interesting timings. Oh, and also, the first A for Effort made references to older Rhythm Heaven characters. It only hurt as a continue on though, knowing that there wouldn't be any Karate Man, Monkey Golf, or any other fan favorites. While we're on the topic of classic games, the multiplayer actually does bring back a couple, including Rhythm Tweezers, so it's not entirely gone. Also, the high-score single-player minigames also include the joke inclusion of Quiz Show. I quite like it, whether it's the old version or the new one. Returning to the multiplayer rhythm games, they're good, it's just they actually require a second person. I know, shocker, a multiplayer mode requires multiple players, but my sister and I could only make it to the second stage of Rhythm Tweezers, where then I had to take over and try it by myself. Even then, Rhythm Tweezers 3 is even too hard for me. I got far.
You should try again. You're really good at that.
Apparently.
No, because you get further than when it's me and you. That's kind of embarrassing for me, I'm not gonna lie. Yay! No!
I guess I got what I asked for though. Somehow, I did beat Pet and Parcel 3 by myself. Actually
You did better than me, bro. What the freak?
Did better than both of us combined. Returning to the mainline single-player minigames, my least favorite were Yumbot 1 and 2. The horrendous timing and the even more assaulting tonal noise doesn't make this game fun or good at all. The only other one that I kinda didn't like was Hop and Slide 2. The first one is fine and I like the continuation of story from an accidental bug making its way into an actual feature. Though the sequel's slowdown and the last slide mess with the rhythm in a way that is difficult to get right. I should know that this dog is weirdly hated for this tempo or lack thereof, but I don't really find it difficult. The only bit that I can understand are a little difficult are the 3 off-tempo discs that they really help you with in Disc Dog 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, fuck. But it really just boils down to clicking A on the 7th beat. Oh, and one more thing I didn't know where to fit. After finishing Remix 20, Lil Miss Reed says to check out how things look in night mode, and at the time of writing I didn't know what that meant, but now I do know what that means, and I feel, whatever. Night mode just makes it so there's like a screen overlay over everything, so you can't see what's happening in the level, so you just have to listen for cues instead of visually referencing the happenings of the song, which is cool because it adds an extra level of difficulty, but it's also because it just arbitrarily adds a level of difficulty. It doesn't actually change the map of the song or anything, it just makes the level more difficult because you can't see anything. I don't really know. It's interesting, it's a new mode, but I personally wouldn't go back just to perfect every single level just to have a chance to do night mode. Wrong! Hello, this is post-production Hi-Hatu, or Autumn, I don't really know. I'll just post-production that. I incorrectly stated that you had to beat every song in perfect to unlock night mode, which is not true. You have to beat a song 3 times in perfect to unlock night mode for that one song. And for every other song, you have to beat those songs 3 times in perfect to unlock night mode for those songs respectively. My bad, it's just I'm not doing my research as always, but you know, whatever. Fuck me, I guess. Continue to the video, or at least continue to the rest of the video. But the sheer fact that there is always something for me to go back to makes it a lot more interesting. I like going back to the games I love. Yeah, I quite like this game. It's not perfect, but nothing is. While I still think this game's a little too easy, it does retain a lot of that Rhythm Heaven sauce while making things a lot more accessible for newcomers. Even with all my nitpicks, I still think this is a pretty solid entry in the franchise, and I still look forward to their next installment, however many decades that might be. I hope this little review can inform you whether this game is fit for you. I do quite care about Rhythm Heaven and rhythm games as a whole, as you can see right behind me. Like I said before, I still recommend the physical version. Brick and mortar stores usually have a better return policy than online digital storefronts, as long as you keep that receipt. Well, that's about it. I hope you liked the video. Just do the usual YouTube interaction stuff, like, subscribe. Tell me in the comments if you think I'm going too easy or a little too hard on the game. This is my first review that I've actually published. I've made a couple reviews before, but never actually published them. So what do you think about the game? What do you think about my video? With that being said, see ya! They can just make themed remixes, and they don't. I hit the mic. That was a perfect thing. I just hit the mic. Gem, that remix 8 and remix 10 from Rhythm Heaven. Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna test if that's even true. Keep the cameras rolling, Ghibli. You're gonna watch me test this in real time. See if I'm a faker. See if I'm a liar. Yep, literally. Yep, I'm so upset. Okay. Karate Man, Monkey Golf, or Built to Scale, or any other built to scale. There's only one! No, wait, actually there's two. That's not my name! It's not my name! You have to listen for cues instead of just referencing visually, which is... Oh, I forgot my glasses. I was missing something. Okay, that's fine. Tell me what you think about the game. I don't know. It's not that hard to read all the comments since I don't get many, but it's like I'm begging. It's like I'm saying, "Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. No one comments. Wow, wow, wow." I'd like for, all of my videos to have a million views, but like, some of my videos are just trash. So we can have a little conversation in the comment section. No one says anything. Man, fuck you, man. Alright. I'm done.